All right, massive, massive welcome back to the freaking 10K months to 50K months summit. Oh my gosh, I have been in love, obsessed, so ridiculously excited about this summit. And as I've done with the other ones, I'm just gonna, before I introduce Lou, I'm going to just share with you why this matters so much to me, and why I ran it in the first place. And I really believe that this is gonna be like your massive breakthroughs, whether you watch it right now live or whether you're watching this on the recording. I know a bunch of you guys let me know that you'd be watching it later on the replay, which is perfect. So I decided to create the 10K months to 50K months summit because I personally was stuck at 10K months for 3 years. And I'm not exaggerating that. It was literally 3 years straight. So I felt a lot of shame and a lot of really like frustration and then later like anger, especially by year three, when I felt so stuck at like that 10K month. And it's so interesting because other people around me were like, oh, like you should, that's amazing. Like most people don't make that. And like you should just be grateful. And I think that's really easy to say to someone maybe who is okay with things just sort of stagnating. But and I know so many of you who are watching live, who are watching on the recording, are people and women who are obsessed with growing and who want to evolve and who want to feel like, I want to live up to my freaking potential. I want to live up to my fullest power. So, yeah, maybe for other people, it's okay to be stuck at 10K months for 3 years. But for me, it was like that means I'm not growing, I'm not progressing, I'm not seeing change. And that can feel so infuriating when you are someone like you who is incredibly driven, hungry, ambitious, obsessed, and you don't see that jump. And that's why it's so funny because that's why I ran this because I know that right now, as you're watching this, girl, this is going to be your fucking breakthrough. And I really believe this because I know Lou is going to absolutely bring it today. And she's had some really huge quantum leaps recently again. So that's like so good in alignment. But also, obviously, Siska and Becky and Courtney, who we interviewed previously in the summit, like it was pure gold. And I've gotten such incredible, just like breakthrough feedback and aha moments and massive realizations because these women are just like willing to actually say what it actually took for them to make that vertical jump up to 50K months and then well beyond that, right? So they didn't stay there, they kept going. But I know for you, your current like main focus, it's not like 200K months. Your main focus right now is like 50K months. Like, how do I get there? Like, how do I make this happen? You're busting your ass, you're taking massive action, you're marketing every day, you're selling every day, and it's not happening. So, hi, Kim. I'm excited to be here for the first time, Olivia. Looking forward to the chat, mate. Amazing. I'm so excited to have you, Kim. So first of all, I just want to introduce you to Lou. Her and I are a part of Steph's collective, and I've seen her growing like crazy in the last like 12 months, and I mean beyond that. But for me, I've seen that, and so I'm so excited to have her on today. So welcome, Lou.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is gonna be so much fun. Honestly, I'm like, oh, anyways, it's a whole conversation. This is why I'm here. I'm just so ready to pour in. And I think we're here for almost an hour. It's gonna
Yes.
go so freaking fast. So buckle up because you're about to be fire hosed real a lot. There's going to be a lot that comes through today. So I'm really excited that you have me on. I'm really excited to be here, whether you're live or watching the recording. First, going to say, hit me up on Instagram at the Lou Clarke. If you have any thoughts, questions, aha moments, drop them in my DMs. It's me in my DMs. I'm happy to just have a chit chat a little bit with you guys too. If you're not here live and you can't like text in, you can do that.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so my first burning question that I'm really excited to ask and
Let's go.
is the following. So straight up, what was the pivotal mindset shift for you, Lou, that allowed you to break through that 10K month barrier and then scale to 50K months? Obviously, there are a million things, but what is like the first thing that comes to mind straight away for you?
I had to step into who I needed to be in order to hold that amount of money.
Okay, oh my God, like already I'm up. Yes. Okay, so tell me about that.
Okay, so for those who need a little bit of a backstory, in 2006, I was pregnant with baby number three. I do have four boys, ages 15 to 22. You would not know it because I am 29 in spirit. And so, but what happened was like going through the bank, we did not go bankrupt. We saved our asses from not going bankrupt, but what I realized at that point was I had all the strategy, but I didn't understand energetics. I didn't even know there was energetics. And at that time, like I was going to church, I was a spiritual person, but there's a big difference between energetics and spirituality. And I think a lot of people misconceive those two. And what I've realized as I was starting to get out of that slump and start to move into these higher months and hitting 10Ks and then 20Ks, I was stuck at 40K for 27 months.
Oh,
Which sounds like horrible, but like, hello, that's what someone makes. Like that's like, oh, anyways, we should not be upset with the amount we're making each month. It's the only reason we get upset is because we know we're meant for more. We
yes.
know that we can create more, but we don't know the how. And I think that's why people don't move is because it's not about the how, it's about the who. And so we just gotta swap those two letters, right? The H, like we are the three letters. We have to just reorganize those three letters. It's not about the how, it's about the who. And I feel like that was the piece that I realized was like the Lou that you guys would have seen maybe in 2017, 2016, that was around 10K months, maybe going into 20, like she was I'm trying to even, you know what's really interesting, Olivia, and you guys will see this. I channel a lot. So if I start doing this as a channeling is coming through, yeah, I'm a numbers person who actually has a lot of energetics.
Yeah.
But um, I will jump from left, right, over and around, and then come back to back to the middle. Just so you know, if you see me go here, there's a reason for it. So it's just the way I share. But what I wanted, so I want to tell you that. Then I wanted to tell you this is like there was an element where I can't even remember who she was.
Oh, I really hear you on that. I really hear you on that.
Yeah. And I think about this is I don't think the person I am today in the next 12, 18, 24 months, I don't think I'll remember who I was. And I feel like that's a really good representation of literally what you have to become or who you have to become. And so when I was hitting 10K months, I had two companies.
Mhm.
We just sold one company last month. So like
Yeah.
I ran one company for 30 years and I sold it so I could go right all into business mentorship and money mentorship mostly. But like I was working 9 to 5 in our bookkeeping firm. And then I would work Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. So for the moms out that are building business, hi, I get you because I built a side hustle while running a full-time job while raising a family of six, all from my house. So like I get it way too much. Like I get it way too, like I get it. I get you. I get you. So this isn't like a 20 something coming who's never been married, travels the world and says, look at how easy 50K months are. Like I am a mom of four. I've run multiple businesses. I'm the person that utilized every 168 hours to make, are we allowed to swear on this?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's all
I
I
just
do.
want to make
Go
sure.
for it.
I wanted to make, I'm like, okay, hold on. But I really wanted, I utilized my 168 hours a week to really make shit work. And the harder I made it, try to make it work, the worse it was.
Oh, that almost made me want to cry because I really get it. Mm-hmm.
There's this element of like, just go hard, just do the thing, just be the thing, just show up. And what I realized was like, I cannot make the money I want to make trading time for money.
Mm-hmm.
The two currencies that most people in the world believe we have are time and money, but yet they're two currencies on two separate frequencies. Money
Ooh.
is abundant. You want me to go there? You want me to stop
Oh
there for
yeah,
a sec?
definitely.
Okay, so time and money are two different frequencies in the energetic realm. Why do I know this? Because money is there's always enough, there's always more, there's always plenty. Like you can always create money. Your time is limited. We
Yeah.
all have 24 hours in the day. I remember being in a place where I was really supporting and coaching moms who were building a business. And they'd be like, well, I don't have enough time in the day. Like, must be nice for Oprah. And I'm like, Oprah has, and I'm like, it's not about how much time you have, it's about what you do with your time.
Mhm.
Right. And so Alex Hormozy says this really, really well. If you took like 20 hours of uninterrupted, like like pinpoint laser focus and put it into something, you'll do more work in those 20 hours than you probably do in a month.
It's so true. It's so true.
Mhm. So I don't actually believe time exists. I believe time is like we're going really deep here. I don't talk a lot about this
I
stuff
love it, and
online.
my people love
Okay.
that kind of shit, and they're used to it anyway with me. So keep going.
Okay, good. Because people see me online like, oh, you cash flow, you're cash flow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
here's what I don't believe time exists. I believe time was created by man and able to, I'm going to use the word control very loosely, but also so that you and I could be on this call today at this time. Like
Right.
that's the only reason for me time was created, the clock time,
Yeah.
not human time,
Yeah.
right? Because there's the time that we look at, we all have 24 hours in a day, 168 in a week. However, our human clock is totally different. And so I had to realize like no matter how many hours I put in, I'd always hit a glass ceiling because I was trading time for money.
Mm.
And when you have two different frequencies trying to line them up, that's where I'm going to say emotional and energetic blockage because they'll never be on the same frequency because time is limited, money is not. And I heard this recently from Myron Golden, who's someone I've just tapped into the last couple of months. And I'm like, oh, I really love his messages. And he says, money is not currency. Your creativity is currency. And guess what? You never run out of creativity. So you technically never run out of currency.
Oh
All you
my
have to learn
God.
is how to turn your creativity into currency, like into money.
Oh my God, Lou, like I've been doing these this summit for like a few weeks and everything has been goals. But I don't know about you guys. I know about you guys watching this on the replay and then like right now, obviously I saw the stars coming off like on Kim. Kim, that's hilarious because that's how my brain is going right now. It's like, fuck it out. Like it's so funny, Lou, because I've been in the collective for I had to come in here. I've been in the collective for almost 2 years or something around there. And I would never have known that this is your gold.
I
Like
know.
you need to be way more on live streams and way more on videos because I see your posts and I'm like, cool, that's really cool. But this
Mhm.
is like amazing. Like anyway, keep going, but this is like pure like I feel like I'm elevating on a
Yeah.
different frequency just hearing you speak. Anyway, keep going.
It's my secret sauce.
Yeah,
No, I'm only kidding.
our
Here's
people
what I
really
will tell
fucking
you
know
about
about
this
it
because
though.
I think this would be really good for people to know. The one reason why, like, people say to me, like, they see me in trainings or they see me
Yeah.
live, why is this not online? And I'm like,
Yeah.
because I run a multi six-figure business, but
Yeah.
that's gone. So we're just kind of allowing
Yes.
that, like
Yes.
we're watching that boat sail. We just have a couple little things to clean up the dock.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see a massive shift come
Oh,
in April. So it's going to be
how
really good.
exciting. Keep
It's
going.
exciting. It's like, again, who do I have to be to create what I want to create?
Oh my God. You know, it's so funny, right? Because you hear the same things being said elsewhere. But I think the reason this is landing like on such a powerful level, and I've been doing this for like 10 years and I've worked with like every mentor ever, but like I think the reason this is landing so hard is because it feels so embodied. It's not
Mhm,
just like words that you're spouting out, it's like
mhm.
words that from what it feels like is like you've lived and then you've embodied and then you've really like reflected on and maybe with a mentor, maybe just on your own. And like that's why it's like what you just said and I feel like can you say that again for people to because I actually think like that is like pure truth and that's literally why people are not where they want to be at like the 50K months or the 100K months or the 30K months or whatever. So go ahead.
So, what I realized, and I'm going to bring it back to selling the firm that we
Mhm.
had, what I realized was I was being called to something far greater than I could ever comprehend or imagine.
Mm.
What's coming is insane, and I don't even know. It's just a 2 year conviction I've been running from. And that's why I would never give up my other company so that I wouldn't have to step into where I'm stepping into because I was scared.
Yeah.
I was fearful. I had this guaranteed income coming in every single month for 30 years. And then I was doing this on the side. Like my whole mentoring and coaching was just because I needed something to do. And I love to talk and I love to teach. I love to share and I love to make money and I love to fix people's money. So let's just go do that. But what I realize is the calling has gotten so deep, the conviction's gotten so strong that I cannot be who I need to be to bring forth this mission, this movement, this empowerment if I'm still holding this business. So
Mhm.
we being my husband and I, because we're both partners, like we're business partners, we took a leap and went, okay, we're going to sell this. And not everybody went with the new person. Some just left, right?
Uh-huh.
Which
Yep.
financially I could say hurt, but I don't even think that's a thing anymore. And so I'm just like, okay, as we clean things up, as we like clean up the dock is the visual I'm getting, and being like, okay, waiting for the yacht to roll in now that the like this other ship has sailed, there's another big ship coming in. And it's just though understanding, who do you have to be in order to be the next level. Now, what I want to really preface here is I'm not telling you to be something fake.
Hmm.
I'm not saying go around and buy your Louis Vuittons and your Gucci's and your Christian Dior's and your blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying travel the world. I'm not saying um, put on makeup 24/7. I'm not saying be something loud online and quiet. Okay, who you get right now, if we met in person, this is exactly who you're going to get.
Yeah.
Okay. What I am saying though is I follow four rules, like four rules. I have four things. I'm going to try and do these in order. They might go backwards, but okay, I can't see. When you try and think through, this is another thing. How did I get to where I got? I stopped thinking. I stopped strategizing. I stopped trying to figure out how something's working, and I just allow the flow. And you're talking to a person that, as you can see in my room is very girly. It's very Beverly Hills Hotel. It's very pink and green. That is my brand. 4 years ago, this room was white. There
Hmm.
was no femininity, there was no personality, there was no nothing, because I'd never tapped into feminine energy. I was always masculine. I'm always sheets. Like I'll run a numbers like Google sheet. I will run numbers on a Google sheet like for 3 hours just trying to get different numbers. Like that's how strategic my brain was. Like if I
Yeah.
move this and do this and do that, I had to shift and understand there's this whole feminine energy, and that with feminine energy comes this creativity and flow, and I needed to step into that. So my whole piece is, who do I need to be? Who do I need to serve? Wait, I want to go back. See, I knew it was going to happen. Who do I need to be? How do I need to show up? Who do I need to serve? And how do I need to serve them? So who, how, who, how.
Hmm.
And that's like every day I wake up and go, okay, who do I need to be today? Because you know what? Sometimes we can just be mom. We can
Yeah.
turn everything off, and
Yeah.
we can put our hair in a bun, and we can walk around in Lululemon. Actually, I'm wearing Lululemon yoga pants because they're like the best with the pockets in the side. Like I'm all human, right? But there are times we just, or maybe there's a time we just want to lay in bed and just be for us. And then there's other times where it's like, oh, hair, makeup, glitz, glam, everything. Who do you need to be? And so, like, if I came on talking to you right now in my hair in a bun with like sweats or whatever, and I was kind of like, hey, Olivia, thanks so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here. So today I want to talk to you about, do you see the difference?
So,
Like, we all,
so I want to know this. The person, because
okay,
always, for some reason, my brain always goes to like the person who's watching later. If the
yeah.
person's like, how, and I mean, this might be coming, but like, how do I tap into, like, it's like almost like, how do I know who I am to be?
Oh, okay. So let's go into this. This is answerable. So what I believe is we have past self,
Hmm.
current self,
Ooh, yeah,
higher self,
yeah,
but we also have future self.
okay.
And I believe that past self was there to teach us something. I've realized there's certain elements of my past self that I've said goodbye to that I now need to bring back because she needs to
Ooh.
be here for what we're doing. I said goodbye too quickly. Uh-huh. Wait till you see what's
Wow.
coming. It's crazy.
I'm
It's
to
crazy.
anyone else like holy mother, this is so good because that's like this is so even before you start going, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like this is gonna be so good. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. And so there, I said goodbye to my entire past self.
Oh.
And then I realized I was actually at a conference in Las Vegas in February of 2025, and this keynote speaker did this really cool visual keynote, and I went, and she's like talking about how she said goodbye to parts of her life, and then she's like, "You, I'm keeping," and I thought, "Holy shit! I just said get out. I don't want any of you." But
Yeah.
what I'm realizing is like a lot of my clients have what I call mama trauma. They have the mother-daughter relationship. There's a lot of trauma there. While
Mm.
me personally, I estranged from my mother back in 2020, and I just tried to like bury all that because I didn't want to remember it. But then I have clients coming to me and going, I can't figure out why I can't move forward. And then we start having conversations, and for some reason, their mom pops up. And I'm
Mm.
like, Okay. So I've had to bring back past experiences, past self lose to be able to mentor my clients. The movement that we're about to create in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I had to bring back a part of me that knew how to grow a Facebook group to 2,200 people in 11 days. I had
Right.
to bring back the part of me that that was a partner in and ran a national organization for moms, and we got up to almost 70,000 members.
And
And I've
why
been
did you get rid of her? Why did you get rid of her initially?
I think because of the experiences I had, no, I felt like the experiences were too deep and too much of a cut that I could not heal, that it was just easier to say, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. Let's go over here.
So
But
what, so that's, because I'm thinking about the person who's thinking like, yes, 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 yes. So my question is this, what about the fear of like, oh my God, but if I bring her back, I'm gonna like F it up again. Or if I bring her back, it'll mean pain. Or if I bring her back, there'll be these like other new traumatic experiences that like come through. What about that fear?
Sure. So basically, I went and had like what I'm going to say a side by side conversation in mind.
Yes.
Like literally, I
Yes.
was like, "Come to the movies. Let's sit in the movie theater and like watch a movie." And oh, by the way, you're coming with me, but you're not allowed to bring this. You're
Right.
coming with me, but these are my boundaries. So when I say I'm bringing past lose back, it's what did I gain from those experiences that I can use now?
Right. So it's
And
more like you're
so
bringing back the wisdom, the gifts, the lessons,
the good stuff.
the good stuff.
The good stuff. Because even, for example, I have a client and she's been stuck for quite a long time on a certain element of her business about this glass ceiling. And it came to a fruition just even Monday. She brought up her mom, and I knew there was issues with mom. Like I knew that. And she was starting to tell me things, and I was like, I'm going to tell you a story. And I dropped her like a 27-minute Voxer in two, because Voxer cut you off. I forgot about that. But I dropped her like two voice notes, and I just shared everything from a person watching a movie, not from the person in the movie.
Wait, say that last bit again. Person watching the movie rather than.
Being in the movie. So I can now look at past experiences like it's a movie, not that
Right,
it was my experience.
right,
So I
right.
have no emotional attachment. So Eckhart Tolle teaches the power of now, which is time doesn't exist. All that exists is the now, and what you think about is your now. And what I used to have to do is go back, like I would go back and think about that and bring all that trauma. And now I'm living that trauma. The way I disassociated was I went, that was a part of me that I'm no longer that person. So that experience no longer can agitate me because I'm not the same person.
Yeah, yeah, I really actually I know what you mean. That really I hear you. And then I'm so curious. So, you know
Okay.
how I asked you that person who's thinking to themselves, how do I know who to be? Because the first question when you wake up in the morning is like the
Yeah.
initial question is like, who do I need to be? So the person
Mhm.
who's like, how do I know who to be? What,
Great. Love that. So let's go back. So I was saying we have a past self, a present self, a higher self, and a future self.
Mhm.
So I literally will have conversation with higher self, which is just, I'm not like meditating on the floor doing like this. Like I'm not that person. I lay in bed and be like, okay, what are we turning on today? What's it look like? And I hear in my head, well, if you want to be XYZ, you need to
Right.
do one, two, three. And so it's this connection of higher self. It's this connection of, I'm going to talk about future self in a second because it's even just, I think, more important. But it's this connection of higher self that reminds me energetically that, like, I get to be whoever I want to be
Mhm.
because everything,
Absolutely. That is the biggest yes ever. Absolutely.
and at the same time, everything I want to be is already within me. I just think they're chained up. I think they're chained and they're bounded and chained by the beliefs that if I step into this I'm going to use the word ego because one of the things I love, there's this book you can buy. It's by Todd Herman. It's called The Alter Ego Effect. Todd Herman was Kobe Bryant's mindset coach, and
Oh my God.
He helped Kobe create the Black Mamba.
Oh my God. Sorry, I need to write that down. So the alter
Yeah,
ego, you said?
The
Yeah.
Alter Ego by Todd Herman. It's yellow
Okay.
with glasses on the front.
Okay.
Excuse me. And Todd Herman was one of my coaches back in 2019. And so, for something totally different than we got to talk to him about that, but I was actually with him. He has a program called the 90-Day Year. It was like time management stuff. But then I found out, anyways, that's how I found Todd. He was one of my mentors. The book is amazing. And it talks about having different egos. So people in the world call it wearing different hats
Right.
because the world has made the word ego bad.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is call it whatever you want, it doesn't matter. And so like I have a wife hat or a wife ego. I have a mom hat or a mom ego. I have a coat, like there are all these different hats that we wear because you are not the same person. There's elements of who you are. You are not the same person when you're with your kids versus when you're with your clients.
Correct.
Okay, so you like can we grasp that? Like we
100%.
understand how, okay, so if you can understand I am a different there's a different element or I wear a different hat or it's a different ego from when I'm with my kids versus when I'm in business,
Yes.
then you're going to understand there's also another element that your future self
Hmm.
is the next level of that. So for example, this is how I do my visualizations. I love movies. I am a movie goer. Right now I'm frustrated because there's no movies in the theater I can go to. Like if I could go to a movie every single week, I would. Like
Oh, you're
I'm
like my
that kind
brother.
of
My
person.
brother does that too. That's hilarious. Yeah, keep going. Hmm.
I love the movies. So for me to visualize myself sitting in a movie theater and by
Lou, you're a little bit frozen on my end, but it might just come right back. Oh, Lou, can you hear me?
and all of a sudden I can
Wait,
visualize
pause, pause, pause. Lou, it froze on my end, and now I need to
oh,
know what happened. Like, so
okay.
this is where you
What
were.
did
You were
you
like,
hear?
you were sitting in the cinema theater, and you had your popcorn and your drink, and then tell me from there.
Okay, waiting for the curtain to go up, right? And I'm eating because I'm expecting something incredible on the screen, and I can visualize my future life on that screen. And
And
so I can
you find that you do that quite effortlessly when you do that.
I can do it right now without even
Right.
thinking. I can see it right
Wow.
now. But what I
Wow.
also know is 33% of the world cannot visualize.
Right.
It's a legit thing. They just can't do it.
Yeah.
So this is something I've had to really train myself to do. But like when I look at myself on a film, what am I doing? I'm speaking on, and I've been a speaker on stages since 2010, so it's not new to me. So it also helps. And I've been to conferences with
Yeah.
big auditorium, right? So that also helps. But I'm speaking on stage. But you know what I notice is like I have a black shirt on, I have a I have a pink jacket on, I have green pants on, and I'm wearing my sneaks. And the one thing I realize is that I'm talking, I'm getting warm, so I take off my jacket, and what I can see are my arms. And my arms are so freaking defined that
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, she got arms. I don't got those arms right now. Like I can tell you right now, I looked in the mirror this morning yet. No, not yet. But so then I say to myself, oh, I love her. She intrigues me. I'm excited about her. What do I have to do today to step into her power?
Oh, oh wait. I just feel like we need like about like 10 seconds just to like really sit with that. So you see who the fuck you can be. You see that
Mm-hmm.
person like
Mm-hmm.
in your heart, in your head, on this cinema screen.
Yep.
And then you're like, yes, fuck yeah, F yes, that's me. And then
Mm-hmm.
you look at you now, and it could be
Mm-hmm.
in business, it could be in fitness, it could be wherever the fuck.
Anything.
And you're like, cool, that's not the current tangible
Version.
reality.
Version. Yep.
And then you ask, and then what's the question you ask yourself?
What do I need to do today to become her?
What do I need to do today to become her? What do I need to do today to become her? And then this is so juicy because I'm just thinking about the person who's like watching this later and like 50K months and stuff because they're like that's like their main thing. So for in this little mini example, obviously you've got like 20 examples, but this mini example it's about like your your physique and your fitness and like your muscle mass, right? But then for these women here watching, it's like their 50K month.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at their bank account, they're looking at their Stripe account. It's like it keeps showing about like 10,000, it might be 8,000, might be
Yep.
20,000,
Yep.
like whatever. But then like what they see on the cinema screen is the 50,000 every month. and then they ask themselves like, what do I need to do today to
No,
become her?
no, no.
Okay, tell me more.
I'm going to go a little more. I don't want, here's the thing.
Hmm.
This is the reason why people aren't hitting 50Ks. They're
Right.
focused on the money.
Okay, tell me more. This is so good. This is so good. Go.
I am the money mentor who's going
Right.
to tell you don't focus on your money. Your money is a byproduct of who you are,
Yeah.
how you show up, who
Yes.
you serve, and how you serve them.
Truth.
I don't wake up in the morning and go, okay, how do I make money today? I
Right.
wake up and go, okay, who do I need to be and how do I need to serve them?
Right.
Like, who do I
It's
need to be? Who am
Lou,
I
this
going to
is
serve? How am I
so
going to serve
good.
them?
This is so
Okay.
good.
It
So,
has
so who, wait,
your
okay.
bank
I really,
account, your
oh,
bank account has nothing to do, well, okay, 10% to do with the strategy of how to make money.
right.
If you asked me 4 years ago, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, it's 100% strategy. What are you talking about? Now I'm like 10% strategy,
Yeah.
90% being.
But I could not agree more. And if you think about like, Tony Robbins was somebody that I used to really like focus on
Mm,
a little bit less
yeah,
now, but he was always like 80% is psychology, 20% is actually like,
absolutely.
you know,
Doing, yeah.
so oh, this is so good. I'm like sad that it's already the time that it like because this is so good. Um, so the person who's like, okay, wait. So they're 50K months. Okay, yeah, and you said it's not about the money. And I think this is like, to be very honest with you, I think to myself like this is the biggest breakthrough because honestly, over those 3 years, do you know what I was most focused on?
The
Money.
money.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
So
I and I,
can I
I
touch
told
that?
myself I was focused on identity and mindset work because the two mentors I had at the time were very big on identity. But tell
Hmm.
me if you had coached that version of me back then,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was like literally like 100K months, 100K months, 100K months, 100K months. Like that was my every single day. And I was
yeah,
like, who?
yeah.
And in my head, I was like, who do I need to be? Who would I be if I was already making 100K months? But I was still more focused on the 100K months than who I.
Because you're only wanting to become the person so you can make the money.
Yes. So talk about
So
that.
here's the thing. When you focus, and I'm a like master manifester as well. Like I love manifesting. I understand how it operates really, really well. And what I can tell you is people who are trying to manifest money are actually manifesting from a place of lack because all you're
Yes.
thinking about is if I only just had, if I
Yeah.
could only have 10K, if I could only build this, if I could only do that. And it's like, that's if I could only, or if I wish I had, that is lack energy, especially in manifesting. You get what you think about, right? Energy goes where like your energy flows where energy flows where your attention goes, or say it back and forth, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. And so if you're thinking about, oh, I want to make 10K, I want to make 10K, I want to make 100K, you're basically putting out to the universe you don't have enough.
Hmm.
And someone might be sitting here going, Lou, you're hitting 80K, 100K months. February for me was over $200,000 in sales. There's a difference, but there's over 200,000. We had a legally signed contract, which was like, okay, this is weird. I've never done this before. And I'm not saying this because I'm here. I'm saying this because if I fucking knew this 10 years ago, I would be so much further ahead. I'd have more money than I ever thought I possibly could. But the element is this: if you are doing business to make money, you're in the wrong business.
Right.
Money is a byproduct of how you serve people. And in order to serve people, you have to deepen your personal and professional development, and you need to show up as your best self in the moment so that people actually look to you and go, oh my God, I want that. And so there's this element of the number one reason why people are not hitting whatever month you want is number one, you're trying to hit the month. So stop. Number two, you think your life is going to be so much different when you hit 50K months. I'm calling absolute bullshit. Okay. I'm hitting 100K, 80K. My life hasn't changed. Yay. I can pay to go to Vegas all in full in cash. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nothing has changed except for my tax bill. Like literally, people are like, yeah, but there's freedom. But you know what happens when you hit 80K, 100K? You actually go, holy shit, this is really cool. What do I have to do to sustain it? And where we actually find freedom is in who we are being, how we show up. So if you're looking for 50K months because you want to create freedom and happiness and joy, I'm here to tell you, sister, that you're not going to find it there. Because most people who have to strive to hit 50K months hate it because they didn't have the joy and the peace and the freedom.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that's the part. Is like every reason you want 50K months is the wrong reasons. So instead of trying to hit a dollar value, like if you ask me right now, Lou, where are you for March? I have no idea because I
yeah,
don't pay attention. Why? Because as soon as I start to pay attention, I'm out of flow, I'm in strategy, and I'm trying to figure out how to replicate something that happened.
yeah.
So to me, every day is day zero. I say this, I've been with my mentor for 46 months consecutively as of yesterday.
Oh
And
my
every
God.
time her and I message back and forth, I'm like, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Because every day to me is day zero. So, sure, I can walk in and talk like this because I have money. Listen, my money's all tied up in things because that's what wealthy people do. We don't
Yes.
have money just sitting in bank accounts. So, could I drop 10K right now and go do something? Sure. Do I want to? No. Why? Because I'm building something greater.
Yeah.
So I really want you guys to start looking at why do you want to hit these numbers? And if you're like, well, bring me freedom, it'll bring me peace, it'll bring me joy, it'll give me the way I can have a lifestyle. Okay, everything except for the physical lifestyle, you need to figure that out now. The reason I didn't move, like we'll kind of talk about 10K, 20K, even the 40K, I was there for like 27 months. The reason I was stuck, no matter where you're stuck, is
Mm.
because you think by going to that next level is going to solve these personal problems of not enough happiness, not enough freedom, not enough joy. Do you know what freedom is to me? That I get to create my own schedule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That I can go, oh, it's March break. Here in Canada, it's March break. Oh, it's March break. So you know what? I can turn off at 3 o'clock, go upstairs, grab my 15-year-old and say, you want to go hang out? Okay, great. Let's go. You know what he wanted to do? He wanted to go to the mall and buy a record, like an old 1980s record. And then I'm like, okay, now what do you want to do? I'm like, the world's your oyster. You want to bowl? You want to go play pool? You want to watch a movie? Like, whatever do you want to do? He's like, can we just go out for dinner? And I'm like, sure. Where do you want to go? Like anywhere? I'm like, anywhere. And he picked like a Chinese like buffet place. And I was like, cool. Came home, I go, now, but he goes, I'm going out to play Pokemon with my brothers. See ya. And I'm like, bye. Come in the house at 7:57. Look at my husband. I'm like, we're alone in a house. I don't know about you guys with kids.
Never
Like,
happens.
okay.
Not with us. We've got two under four, so that literally never happens. Keep going.
Yeah. I promise you one day it will, and it's
Yeah.
really weird. And
Yeah.
my husband goes, don't worry, someone will be through the door in 20 minutes. But I'm like, it's 7:57. I'm going to bed. He's like, really? I'm like, yep. Went upstairs, prepped for bed, got into bed, and I just laid there and I watched some of my TV shows that I like to watch till 10 o'clock. Then I'm like, I'm gonna go sleep. To me, that's freedom. That I get to make choices. I'm not under the gun. I'm not trading time for money. I'm not doing all these things. And the thing that I realized was money was never going to give me what I was searching for.
Oh my God, this is so good. This is literally so good, Lou. I I have tears and I'm actually not the most like I don't cry all the time. So I just it makes me we were planning on we were planning on running Facebook ads again to all of these replays
Mhm.
and like really max out like just like basically just create it as an automated like fun and
Yeah.
it's funny this is like really confirmed that I'm gonna do that because I just like think that this is just like pure gold and I just like everything that you have said. And it's so funny because, oh God, I feel like everything that you said, but like when I was making 10K months, and I know everyone who's going to be listening, it's exactly what you said. It's like the 100K month meant that I would be like a sense of like cooler, better, like
Needed.
prouder, needed, like a very recognized, like sought out, like really valued, really like people like were like maybe like a level of like people like being obsessed or like being really into like that was the perspective.
Mhm.
And it's so funny because even today I had this idea and I was gonna run like this event and then I was like, oh my God, what if like I ran like a much bigger event? And it's so funny because what you said earlier, you were like, you're focusing on the money. Like so many people here are focused. That's why they signed up to a 10K month to 50K month summit.
Mhm.
They're focused on this like 50K month, 50K month. And I know, and I have so much compassion because that was me and it still is me at times. It was so fine. But what's interesting is what you were saying is like you think that that will solve all of your problems. You think that when you get there, that'll be like the dream life. As opposed to being like, what if I made the dream life and the dream being, the dream identity now? And
Hmm.
the reason I bring this up, and I'm so curious to hear your thoughts on this, is like, I had this idea of like, oh my God, like suddenly in my brain started going like, what if I flew people in? Because I'm based in the UK, but like all
Hmm.
the people that I'm obsessed with are like everywhere else across the world, right? So they're
Yeah.
not necessarily just in the UK. And I was like, but my brain started, when it enters like a different wavelength and a different frequency, and I was
That's
like,
higher self. That's higher self.
yes, that is
Yeah.
fucking higher
Yeah.
self. And it's like, I
Yeah.
was like, and the irony is, as I did a journaling exercise yesterday after doing it for my clients, and it was like around like what do I think I'm gonna get from 50K months? And in my case, it was like 200K months. Like when I get to that level, like what do I think? Why is that so like on a pedestal for me? Like why is that so? And I was like, what do I think it's gonna give me? What do I think it's gonna bring me? What do I think I'm gonna earn from it or receive? How am I gonna benefit? And I wrote down all these things. And one of the things was like, I get to be crazy. I get to be insane. I get to make big ass moves. I get to be really like adventurous and courageous and like nuts. And it's so funny because today I had this idea about this event and I was like, I'm like, oh, but right now, community wise, like I would need to expand it, whatever, all the things. And I was like, this is literally what I could step into. Would it require massive courage, boldness, like loads of like follow through, loads of collaborate, you name it? Absolutely. But so what you're saying is like pure gold is like basically people are like focusing on the 50K months as opposed to focusing on who they need to be today.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, like you're like journaling going, I could be crazy, I can be insane, I can
Yes.
go off, you can do all that now.
But this is what's so
Like,
funny.
I'm
Like
listening to you
brain,
going, why are you not doing this now? It's like how you're like, Lou, why are you not her online? Like, why are you not bringing this online? And I'm like, Olivia, we're working on it.
yeah,
It is a scheduling thing right now, but we 100% are working on it. But it's the same thing as like, everybody can write down, this is what I would be, and this is da-da-da, and blah, 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 like all the different things. But still, it comes down to choice. It still comes down to choice. So what are you choosing right now? And I say this jokingly, but it is very, actually, I say it jokingly, but it's a very serious actual comment.
mhm.
But like, if you can't do your laundry, fold it and put it away in the same day, you will never have a 50K month.
Tell me more about that.
Because if you can't even do your own laundry, fold it, take it out of the basket and put it in your drawers in the same day. Now, listen, someone's gonna go, I'm a mom of six. I do laundry 3 days a week. That's fine. But in the same day, you do that same load. If you can't get it from the washing machine to the dryer to the basket and put away in the same day, you don't have what it takes to run an empire that's making $50,000 months because you are a procrastinator,
Mhm,
because you don't see value in the little things,
mhm,
because you don't put yourself first,
mhm.
because you don't see it as important to have that organization done, because you don't see to take that little action and cross it off your to-do list. Like, when you want to embody your 50K month self, there are things that just become part of what you do and like who you are. I
Yeah.
said it before, right? Who you are, how you serve, who you serve, and how you serve them. It becomes a part of you. Like when you talk to someone, I'll give you an example. My son, he's 22 years old. He is in fourth year at university, going for his master's. He's a certified a certified personal trainer. And he's gone to the gym. So before just we got on here, gone to the gym. If I came back to, he walks in today and I said, Nate, what made you go to the gym today? And you go,
Mhm.
what do you mean? I'm like, did you feel like it? He's like, what are you talking about? It's just what I do. And I go, explain that to me. He's like, well, do you think about peeing or do you just go to the
Yes.
bathroom? Do you flush the toilet or do you think about flushing the toilet? Do you wash your hands or do you think about washing your hands? You want to get to 50K. I'm going a little strategic here, but you want to go to 50K, there's daily things that just have to become part of who you are. People who are really healthy in body, they just go to the gym because that's
It's
just what they
true.
do. It's
But
not like they go, oh my God, I have to go to the gym today. Oh, and they drag their ass. And I'm still in that moment. Just so you know, this is why I don't have
I
an
love that,
arm,
Lou. Yeah, but
right? Yeah.
this is one of the reasons I want it to be, we're gonna make it as a recorded thing and it's gonna become like an automation is because like
Yeah.
you're the beauty of you is like your vulnerability around that, and like your ability to share like that, like you're on the journey and you're a work in
Absolutely.
progress. Because, and I'll tell you why that is actually critical, because like it's like these big ass concepts, and I'm sure people like honestly that this is landing on in ways probably like it hasn't ever landed before. But what I love about the fact that you're sharing that is because then someone who is also feels like I'm still learning this. In my humanity, like Peter Crone is someone who I'm really into right now. It's like the humanity of it all. Like, someone might still be breastfeeding right now, or just had a newborn, or their kids are just, in a really tricky point at school, or in themselves, like stuff is messy with their health or like, I love that it's like you're being honest, like you're like sharing your wisdom from where you are and from
Mhm.
what you have learned,
Yeah.
aka like the finances and the money and the business from this point.
Yeah.
And you're also sharing like, and also these are the pieces that I'm working on. And I think that's really freaking cool because it means one, it's never done. And there's
Mhm.
ever always a new evolution. So even when you're like shredded, there'll be another level of performance. It'll be
Mhm.
like, how can I now do an Ironman? How can I now do this and that, or whatever it might be, or not? And might be another evolution on another plane. But for me, interestingly, and I'm sure other people, that's why it's so powerful, is like hearing it from
Mhm.
a mom who is it four kids,
Yeah.
and like who's married as
Mhm.
well. So
Married
that
my next door
brings,
neighbor.
because you
Yeah.
you have a romantic relationship that you are watering on a day-to-day basis, and that in itself is something as well. And so there's all these pieces, and I think the fact that like you're currently like on your fitness journey and on that
Mhm.
place, it's like that's so juicy because it's like people are like, oh, well, she's doing it. Like, there's really no excuse then for me to start working on in their case, it's more like the businessy side of
Business.
things.
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect. I think it's actually perfect. Like, if the universe was trying to like give us, like, it's so perfect because it's like
Yeah.
there is no excuse, because like you're on your journey too.
Yeah.
You're not saying like I've got this all, like, no. I have learned a lot of shit, and that's what I'm sharing. And I'm still on my journey in this piece and in this piece and in this piece, and it's so cool, and I'll never finish. I'll never complete until the day I die.
We're always just getting started. And here's what I will tell you though, the Lou you don't see is the Lou who had four kids under the age of 8 years old, and she'd have to work like when they were at school. Like I would work 9 to 5 because my husband would stop at like 3:30 and get the kids and be dad, and then I'd stop at 5 and I would do dinner, and then we'd do bath whenever together, and then the kids would go at 8. I'd be back in my office till from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. because I was trading time for money, and then like do that all over again. The only 2 nights I wouldn't work evenings are Fridays and Saturdays because I knew I was so burnt out. Like by the time Friday came, I was on the couch for like a day and a half because I was exhausted. But
Yeah.
what you don't see is the Lou that worked 8 till 2 sat with, and she used to have bowls of nacho Dorito chips and marshmallows,
Yeah.
like, and Pepsi. Like that was my fuel. But I didn't have anybody that was going ahead of me. I didn't have anybody forerunning ahead of me to be like, hey, look this, or hey, look that. So through my entire journey of being a mom and raising businesses, my weight has always been my struggle because I've always put it last. Because I didn't have the time, because I needed the time to make money, because I had a fear of always going bankrupt. And now that has shifted in the last 4 years. I've actually lost weight. I'm not as active as we're getting there. We're getting there. Every day is something new. But like I have a walking pad in my office now that I'll just like walk 10,000 steps when I feel like it, or when it's the right time. But there's this element of like even just releasing that belief that I have to work all these hours, and if I don't work the hours, I'm going to go bankrupt. So don't take care of yourself, just work the hours so you don't go bankrupt. I removed that thought process from my being because I became the next version of Lou, and that's a thought process that wasn't coming with me. And now my thought process is me first, me always, me forever. And that as I just, the more I take care of me, the more money I'm going to make, because the easier it is for me to serve the world. And I've had to create those boundaries within my family Like right even now, I have two dogs who are yappy as hell. And my husband knows when we do calls like this, they get to go hang out with him in his office. It's not even like, Roger, can you take the dogs? He comes in at 11 and goes, got the dogs, we're good, have the best call ever. I'm like, sweet, thanks. I don't have to sit here and think about, is someone going to run the blender or something? Like the people in my house know my schedule, whether it's business or personal. They know it's me first, me always, me forever. And that might sound selfish, but I think it's the one thing that moms are missing. And my business became an outlet for me to not be a mom. And now I'm going to tell you, I have kids that are 15, 8, no, what are they? Hold on, I gotta think. 15, 18, 20, and 22. And I lost a lot of time with my kids because I put everything that I was into the business because I wanted them to have an incredible life. I have three kids in university. We've taken care of everything for them. Like, because I put in all that work, my body has suffered.
Yeah.
But you know what? In the last couple years, me first, me always, me forever, the weight has been shedding off. My hormones are now in balance. I don't carry the stress. I don't carry the load because I don't carry the past thoughts and experiences that don't serve me today.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons you can go further financially. Now, before we end this, I would be doing such a disservice if we didn't talk strategy for a hot second. Because okay.
This is so
Because
good. Like people need to just like get everything. The good thing is there's that. Wait, let's pause for something. There are
yeah,
two pieces which I am going to download myself after this call. Two pieces that you have given as gifts. And I think as a result of people watching this and listening to this, they're going to be like, I need like a million levels of hours to binge on Lou.
and
So
we have those for you. We have those for you over here. Yeah.
I so it's
But
so juicy. So you, by the way, for those of you guys listening, in your email, it's there on every recent email that you got for about Lou. It's in there. So just click on that, and you will literally be able to get those two incredible gifts. And they're around specifically quantum leaping, and there's like an activation code. So this is
mhm.
gonna be like perfect. So I just want to say, like, if you're like, oh my God, I want to binge. Perfect. We have you covered. So go onto your email. The last one you received will have the link, and I'll also send it in the replay as well. So just grab that and freaking just like binge your butt off. So yeah. So now
And
talk to us about
and
strategy.
they're audios that are on podcasts, so you don't have to sit in front of a computer. You don't have to do anything. You just open the podcast. You can listen to it wherever, whenever you want to do. I will tell you, the quantum money leap transmission was a channeling. People are
Great.
like, that was so good. I'm like, amazing. They're like, when you said such and such, I'm like, amazing. And then my team goes, do you remember? I go, I remember nothing. I remember nothing about what's in there. I just knew people needed it. And so, and then the activation code, they're both audios. So you can just go for a walk or go to the grocery store or what have you, but just put that there. But here's the thing. I am very finance strategy. And so we've talked almost an hour about energetics. I'm going to give you like 60 seconds of strategy because what I've shared with you, if you step into the energy of everything we've talked about today, you will make more money. Just
Yes.
stop trying to, I got to be this person so I can make this money. No, I get to be this person and the money just follows.
Right.
Like the
Right.
ease of that is insane.
Oh
It's
my
just
God, that
simple
even just
and
that,
it's
like that needs to
easy.
be cut and shared fucking everywhere. Your team needs to do that. Like we're gonna be sending
Okay.
it over. Like that, just
Okay.
what you just said. Like you just be it, and then like the money just follows. Like,
Yeah.
and then you said how easy is that? And if I was look back at my 10K months, it was not easy because I was
10K is
not
hard.
fully embodied, and so
Uh,
it was very, very, very difficult. So keep
yeah.
going on strategy.
But, and let me say this too. 10K is a lot harder than 100K because one is forced and one is flow.
I mean, do we need to cut these out? Like this needs to be a
But
quotation.
it is 100% the truth. And if you would have told me, if I would have heard me say this when I was at 10K, I'd be like, bullshit. You know how, like, I would not believe it. You have to experience it to believe it,
No,
and then
I
you get to
no,
achieve it.
no, I can believe it. Based on our
Yeah,
conversation today, I can really see and feel into the fact that like if you become and if you're no longer thinking like the end goal is gonna give me everything, it's gonna give me
yeah,
my
no.
dream freaking life, and I'm gonna blah 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 blah. And I was that, and I still find myself falling into that trap. It's like when I'm in your case, it'd be like when I'm shredded, then blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Like when I'm this, and in their case, it's like
yeah,
when I'm at 50K months. Instead, it's like no, like what if that wasn't the case and you could literally be the dream now, be the
Yeah,
dream human now, be
yeah,
whatever it is that you're craving
yeah.
now, and then the money becomes a byproduct. So I
And
totally,
when your future self vision becomes so much of who you are, like when I look in the, like I'm not kidding, when I people say I have body dysmorphia, but in the most beautiful way in my I go, thank you so much. They're like this. Because when I look in the mirror, I see the person in the movie screen.
I love that.
I look at pictures of me, I'm like, that's not me. They're
Yeah.
like, well, we just took it. And I'm like, for me, it's like, it's so ingrained in who I am that when I look, like I have a mirror right here, when I look at myself, I don't see what if I take a pic, I'm just like, oh, that's okay. We got to get more work done. Like, but I'm just saying you become it so much. But again, don't get this mixed up with the world because right now it's all like luxury and shopping and yachts and trips and blah.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people online are going and doing that on credit to sell you something.
Right.
Don't buy into that. Okay, because it says so many times people are like, I had a 100K month, I had a 300K month, I had a 400K month, I had this kind of K month. And I'm like, but how much did you keep? Like, that's always my question. I will never ask it, but there's this element of like, use our sales numbers to like bring people in, and it works.
Yeah,
Right. I went and shared that I had a $203,000 sales for February, and I got 180 people in a masterclass. And they were like,
yeah,
that was nice. And they turned it off. 5 people jumped into my Back Pocket Millionaire broadcast and like are loving it. Like, oh my God. And I'm like, 5 people out of 179 got it. And
yeah,
I cannot be any happier.
yeah.
Whereas people be like, only 5. So that's what I'm talking about. If you can't put your laundry away, you can't celebrate 5 out of 179 who have stepped into something. Okay, strategic. We got to like bump over here for 2 seconds because here's the thing. You need a cash flow plan. The reason why 83% of businesses in North America have more month than money at the end of the month is because they don't do cash flow properly. Okay. So what I want you to know is you can sell to your heart's content. If you don't have a cash flow plan, then you are going to just spend all the money. It is human nature. The more we make, the more we spend. The more we make, the more we spend. If you can do life right now on 10K, then when you hit 50K, you should be able to keep 40K in the bank.
Mhm.
And if you can keep 40K in the bank for 12 months, that's $480,000 in your pocket at the end of the year. So I'm not even going to teach you. You can come in my world and I'll show you, but here's what I'm going to give you.
Mhm.
This is a book you need, okay? I
Mhm.
am a certified Profit First professional. Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Mike Michalowicz is my Profit First mentor. And so this is a cash flow strategy.
Mhm.
Okay. It's all based on moving your money based on percentages for operating expenses, taxes, profit, and paying your owner. What that means is when I have 100K come in, I actually run my business on 39%. I take home 61.
Mhm.
I have very, very thin margins.
Mhm.
Okay. And when you have a family of 6 and they're all boys that are teenagers, young adults, and going to school and eating steak and big, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things. So we bring a
Yeah.
lot of it home. But what that means is whether I make 10,000 or 100,000, I operate my business off of 39%.
Mm.
And when we can operate our business in a way that's percentage based for cash flow, you will never run out of cash
Mm.
unless you make silly decisions.
Mm.
So I say to you, as you grow your mindset in a way of becoming your future self, in a way of not thinking about the cash, but thinking about how you're going to change the world, not thinking about how do I make $1,000 today, but instead saying, who do I need to be today for me? I don't show up like this for you. Sorry. I'm a very selfish person in the most loving way because when I put me first and become selfish for me, I am 10x for you.
Mm.
So even today when I was doing my makeup, I'm like, ooh, what color do I want to wear? Ooh, I think I go like really, really jackpot green. That's the color I'm wearing. And I'm like putting it on. I'm doing this thing. I'm like, I almost look like a Cirque du Soleil act. I'm like, ooh, I love this.
Yeah.
That's making me feel like the person I want to step into. So guess what? I stepped into her.
Yeah.
And so there's this element of I want you to be that, but I also want you to get smart with your finances and build a really strong financial foundation. That's where my vault, the TLC vault that I have and everything that we do, that's where that comes into play for women because you do need both. It is
Yeah.
really hard to scale to high income months on strategy only. But if you scale the high income months on energy only, you're going to lose a lot of what you've created. And
Yeah.
when you have a high month, Olivia, we see this all the time in the containers you and I are in together.
Yeah.
People hit this high month. Oh my God, it's my best month ever. Ah! And we're all like, hey, that's amazing. 3 weeks later, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it again. I'm horrible. I'm sucky. What's wrong with me? And it's like the only thing that's wrong is you're trying to reconstruct what happened.
Yeah.
But like if you have a strong financial foundation, you'll never have your money or your sales may dip, like a little bit of an ebb
Yeah.
and a flow,
Yeah.
but you will stay constant.
I think one of the many reasons I'm so excited about this, I mean, I honestly like I feel like time went away, which is
Hmm.
like exactly what flow is. Um, and I'm so excited for people to listen to this. Like, I'm so excited. Um, what's really interesting, and I think the reason, I mean, because I'm a big, like, I'm both, like, I'm the like spiritual, but then I'm also the science, and then I'm like the grounded, but I'm also like the crazy flowy, so like I'm all the things. And I think the reason this is also going to land so beautifully is because it's like there's like a groundedness, which is like, for example, like the 4 kids, I mean, that in itself, and then like the marriage, and actually like I know from what I'm gathering frequency wise, it's actually like a good marriage. And it's
We have a
right.
great marriage.
Kelly's like, that hour seriously felt like 5 minutes. I know. I
I
agree.
told you guys at the beginning, I'm like, this is gonna go fast.
Told me you were like setting this up. Um, but like, and also the groundedness of like, you told about the backstory of like when you used to work from X to X o'clock,
Yeah.
and like my whole body like, oh, like was so full on for that. And so that's so grounding, because then other people who are like, oh my God, like I'm either there now or I was there, like this girl, like I can resonate with Lou. And then another piece, which is like, I know because I've been in your like in the same space as you for a while, it's like I know that you do really care about like the finances, the cash flow. And I started in finance. I have a bachelor's in finance, and I worked at Bloomberg in like in the very beginning. So like, and not in the same way, but like for me, then when I went on my own financial journey, it was so liberating because I finally was like, I'm not scared of having money. I'm not scared
Yeah.
of holding money. I'm not scared of making my money work for me. And so
Yeah.
we were talking about cash flow, and then there's like more steps beyond that. Like there's so many steps, right? But I think that's why I love it, is because you're this like spiritual, crazy, like high energy, and there's like so many transmissions, and it's so fucking powerful, and it's pure gold. But then also you're this like so grounded, strategic, like there's a lot there
Yeah.
as well. And I think
Yeah.
that's why it will land more powerfully for people, because then they feel a sense of trust, because it's
Yeah.
like it's not just like only this airy fairy like energetics, which I fucking love energetics,
Yeah.
and there's like also this other stuff. So people are like, wow, like she really does, she's both grounded and she's up there. And I think that's why this is going to land on another level for people, because it's going to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can feel it. I can see it. But also, she's talking about real numbers as well. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to make people be like, shit, like I actually see the gap now. And I think that's what I wanted this summit. It's like, I wanted people to see where is the gap, and not the
Mhm.
made up gap, but the actual gap as to
Yeah.
why they're not
Yeah.
making their current
Yeah.
50K months or whatever the dream is.
Because like here's the thing, I'm gonna say two things. Number one, I believe so strong in feminine and masculine energy, which is creativity and flow and strategy and structure. But like you need feminine and masculine to make babies. So what I realized is I needed both for my money. I needed money babies. So I had to bring the feminine energy
Like
to my
spitting gold every second,
masculine.
Lou. Do you have a book? You better write a fucking book. Like, I think because I'm a visual person, as soon as you, and because all of my people are moms, well, majority of people are moms,
Yeah.
not everyone. It's like,
Yeah.
that was so good. You're like, you need a man and a woman, or masculine and feminine
The
to
feminine. Yeah.
baby. And then you were like, I want money babies. And I think that's so
Yeah.
helpful for people. Because sometimes it is like, where do I go? Like, do I go to the masculine? Go to a feminine? And like everyone's telling the same thing. Online, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, and you're just, but what you just
I'm
said, and
like, do both. You get both. You don't just sit in, I don't sit in both. But like, I'll
yeah,
give you a quick example.
yes.
I have a mastermind signature course that I do called Rule Your Money. And it takes people from not knowing a lick of anything to literally being their own CFO. And I was in
Mm.
someone's QuickBooks because that's my world. And I'm in their QuickBooks. They're on Zoom. They're watching me and I'm like doing this thing. And they're like, so Lou, blah, blah. I'm like, yep. And they're like, and I'm just like doing all the things. They're like, Lou, I'm like, uh-huh. They're like, you all right? I go, I had to like shake out. I go, what's
Oh,
up? They're like, who was that? I'm like, oh, you just got bookkeeper Lou. She tunes everything out and just does what needs to be done. Again, different ego, different hat. And so now it's like, I
mhm.
remember I have to say to my clients, okay, we're working on books. I just like tune out and zone in and we just fly. Again, another different aspect of what we've talked about. And they're like, oh my God, we've never seen you in this light before. And I'm like, no one should see this side of Lou just because she's boring and she's mundane. And it's just like, but I love
I
doing
love
that.
her though, because I'm quite geeky and quite nerdy. So I
Exactly.
kind of love
Yeah.
that you're both. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, and you get to be both, and I get to play in both, and I am more masculine than I am feminine. So it took a lot of training to get myself into feminine energy to the point I remember it was our mentor, Exo Gingy or Stephanie Ann Houston. I was working with her, and I came out of one call, and I came out to my husband like out of my French doors. I go, Roger. He's like, what? I'm like, we need to paint my office pink. He's like, who the hell are you? I'm like, I don't know, but we need pink. We need Beverly Hills Hotel. I need velvet curtains. I need the this and I needed this. And he's like, okay. And that's one question I want to say. Like one thing I want to say is because it's probably going to come up, and I know we're over time, but it's really important. I get this a lot. How did your husband or your children um, feel as you stepped into your next level? Like that is quite a conversation that we have because my husband might like some people think, well, your husband married version A and now you're version J. Like, how did they handle that? And it was interesting because I took it to my husband. I said, so how do you handle like my evolution? He's like, Lou, the day I met you, we were next door neighbors. I was 15 years old. So I've been
That's
with
so
him for
cute.
30 years. But he's like, the day I met you, I knew you had untapped potential. And he goes, every day that you wake up and you don't step into your fullest potential, he's like, it almost gets frustrating because I see you not as who you're showing up in, but as who you are.
I
And
really get
so
that.
we have a very strong relationship because we talk. We go on a drive every single morning. Every single morning, we might just talk about the cows in the field or the politics or personal development. Like it doesn't matter, just something comes up, but we are so in tune because we have the conversations. So like even today I started crying in the truck on our drive and he's like, you all right? I'm like, I got sunblock in my eyes. Like I wasn't, but he was concerned because I'm not a crier, but I'm like starting to water. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I put too much sunblock and I got it in my eyes and they're burning. But like he understands when I'm not tuned in. He understands when there's something just not right. Even last night at dinner, I was so tired. So when the boys went to dinner, like to the buffet, he looked at me and he goes, are you all right? I said, yeah, why? He goes, you are not you. And I'm
Mm,
like, dude, I'm so freaking tired. I haven't eaten today. He's like, get up there and get food. So
mm.
here's the thing. Your partner in life, probably when they married you, knew your potential.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if it's not that, then it's probably not the person, and that's okay as well.
And, or as you move and you grow, they'll grow with you.
That's what I found with my husband. He
Yeah.
like I went crazy,
Mhm.
crazy growth, crazy percent, and then he didn't initially match, and I was like, cool,
Yep.
I'm just gonna leave it because I loved
Yep.
him. I could see values that I was like, I think he's fantastic, and then
Yep.
like you just said, like as I just kept going on my evolution, he then just matched, and now like I would say we're very like shoulder to shoulder in terms of like who we are. We're in our own world, but like we're just blowing shit up and we're like in our own like let's effing go. So you're spot on. I couldn't agree more with that.
But you changed him.
Yes, I did. Well, he says that.
Through,
He knows that.
through visualization. So there was a time where Roger and I both wanted a divorce years and like when we were having financial problems
Yeah,
because
of
money
course.
is the number one issue in marriage, right? And we heard some trainings. Please don't ask me who they are because I do not remember. It was bazillions of years ago. But we both heard the training and we both started to visualize him as the partner I needed and him as the partner I knew he could be and vice versa. And
Mm,
we got to a place where we got like crazy teenage love all over again and we still have that. And sorry, something happened last night. It's really funny, but I see we still do this, right? And I remember one day he looked at me and goes, I changed you. I go, no, I changed you first. And it
I
was this
love
whole
that.
thing because we understand the visualization of the future. And so when people are like, Lou, where do you see yourself as this fit person walking across the stage? I said, actually, personally, she has a mini farm and she has a horse and she spends most of her time in the stables while she's talking to her clients through Telegram. Like, that's my vision. So I go buy horses. I go buy, like drive by, not purchase
Right.
horses every single morning. And even if my head's down writing emails or something and or doing some sort of coaching in the passenger side the passenger seat, my husband would be like, horses, and I look up because he knows to keep me on my path, to keep me on my vision. And so even like it's just those little things. And so that will grow. Do not be afraid to step into your future self because of what it's going to mean for the people in your life. They're going to stay or they're going to go. I just had a friend
Mhm.
go really sideways a few days ago, and even had her on a speakerphone. And I hung up, and my 18-year-old was sitting beside me. He goes, "What's her problem?" And I'm
Mm.
like, "It doesn't matter. I know
Mm.
what the problem is. I already know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
things, there's jealousy, there's this, there's that. I'm still the same person. I'm just stepping into a
Oh,
greater piece of me."
there's
So
a crying baby coming. Um,
there we go. It's time to
there we go. This
go.
is so Lou, like, oh
Yeah.
my God, like I just wanna just say a massive freaking thank you for everything that you've just shared. It's just been like insane gold. I'm so glad we've got the recording. So everyone follow Lou Clarke on Instagram. You're gonna have the free gifts that she's got around the activations and the money quantum leap. I'm so excited for you guys to binge on that. And I'm so excited. And you'll receive obviously this replay so you can re-listen as many times. I'm gonna listen to it again and again myself because I just think like there was so much gold. And I'm gonna say a massive thank you. I'll end there because of my baby, and I'm sure you guys as well on your end. But thank you. You're so welcome, Kelly. Thank you so much for being on with us. And thank you, Lou. This has
You're
been
so welcome.
insanely special.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Anyway, all right. I'll leave it at that. Have an incredible rest of your day. Binge on Lou. You can go like stalk her on Instagram, and I will see you guys all in all of the spaces. This has been pure gold, and I'm just elevated. So I hope that this has been amazing for you guys too. Bye, everyone.